Repeat after me, repeat after me. What it is.
What it is?
What's up?
What's up?
Gotcha.
Nigga in the cup.
So if you just completed that line right there and you're not black, see me after class. Hey, what is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bree with an E, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving my top 5 movies and TV shows with the most interesting plots, spooky season edition. Now, I am going to be getting into more than just typical horror, like bloody murder, gore, and actually we're not even going to touch on like demonic stuff, which is a huge thing we see today in horror movies. We're not going to be doing that, okay? But we are going to touch more on some psychological thrillers that are deeply and darkly disturbing or make you think, as well as some mystery and some sci-fi and fantasy. Now, for your benefit, I did go ahead and divide this video into chapters or segments, whatever you call it, just so that if you've already heard of one of these, you can skip around. So with that being said, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first one is a TV show called Severance, and Severance was released earlier this year. It was released on February 18th, and it's a 9-episode series created by a man by the name of Derek Erickson and directed by names like Ben Stiller and Aoife McCardle. I hope I pronounced that right. It features popular names on the cast list like Adam Scott, who's played in Parks and Recreation, Step Brothers, and things like The Good Place. We've also got Patricia Arquette, who's most notably, I think, known for her role in The Act, where she played the mom, starring Joey King. Then next we have John Turturro, who's played in the most recent Batman, The Batman, amongst other things, but this is his most recent to date. And then Christopher Walken, who's also touched the Batman series. He played in Batman Returns, and then he's also played in comedy movies like Click, starring Adam Sandler. So Severance follows the lives of 4 work employees working up under a biotechnology company called Lumen Industries. To work here, workers have to undergo what they call a severance procedure. And basically what it is it divides your work-life memories between your personal life. So a better way to describe that is when you clock in, you lose all memory of what your outside life is like, and when you clock out, you lose all memories of what your inside work life is like. Now the show particularly focuses more so on the main character Mark's life, both in and outside of work, and it's really interesting to see him switch between his 2 personalities. While he's in work, you'll see that he's definitely more happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He's very positive, and then on the outside life, he's very depressed because most work employees that choose to undergo the severance procedure are kind of messed up in the head. Hence the reason why they're undergoing the procedure in the first place. Because would you want to undergo a procedure like that? I don't know if I would. The curiosity would eat me up eventually. Like, I want to know what I'm doing inside of work, and when I'm inside of work, I want to know what my outside life is like. So the main conflict of the show comes in when one of Mark's ex-colleagues finds him on the outside world, not inside of work, which is really strange because to Mark, he's just a stranger. He has absolutely no idea how he's find him, but his work employee has somehow unsevered his memories and is able to locate Mark to tell him that there's some shady stuff going down in Lumen Industries, the company where they work, and that he should have basically investigated and find a way out. And that is what I will leave you with. Severance is a really great show. It's one of my favorite psychological thriller series released, and probably one of my favorite series released this year. And it's already gotten renewed for a season 2, so if you don't want to invest your time in something that's not going to get renewed, joke's on you. It's already gotten renewed. It literally got renewed like before the first season was even done airing. They already had announced there would be a season 2. And one of the creators is Ben Stiller. I just find that so interesting. You can find and watch Severance on Apple TV only right now. I'm pretty sure they'll expand it to different streaming platforms, or maybe they won't. That's just my guess. But for right now, it's on Apple TV, but it is for free. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, please feel free to do so. I'm also going to leave the trailers of these particular movies and TV shows I'm suggesting, just to give you a little bit of visual of actually what the plot looks like. Alright, so moving along, our next one is called The Room, and The Room is a 2019 film that is directed by Christian Volkman. It features actress Olga Kurylenko, and her past work is mostly like action thrillers I've seen. And then we've got for the male lead a man by the name of Kevin Kevin Jansen's, whose past work isn't really well known, so the room follows a married couple who've just moved into a new and isolated home, and in their new home contains a room that literally grants them any material wish in an unlimited amount. So naturally, the couple starts wishing for things like money and things associated with just wealth. The catch is, though, is whatever they wish for, they can't bring it outside of the house or it turns to dust, completely ceasing to exist. So, imagine the drama when what the couple truly wants the most is a baby, like a newborn baby. I find the film really interesting. I think some of the main themes it tends to focus on is be careful what you wish for, and then also money and like wealth isn't everything. It's not going to make you the most happy you can ever be. You can find The Room on various different platforms actually. Unfortunately, none for free, but the ones you can watch them on either require just a subscription to one of the streaming platforms or you can actually rent it for a very cheap price. So here are some of the platforms with a subscription that you can watch it on. You can watch it on Sling TV, the Roku channel, and then Amazon Prime Video. And then for renting it, you can rent it on YouTube, Google Play Movies and TV, and then on Vudu for just $2.99. So this next one is a little bit similar to our last. It's another movie called Vivarium, and it was released in 2020. It was created by a man by the name of Lorcan Finnegan, and it stars actress Imogen Poots, whose past work is a little bit of everything. Like, it's a very good collection in terms of diversity of role and genres. Then we've got the myth, the legend, the one and only my man Jesse Eisenberg, and I don't think I need to introduce his past work, but his past work are literally all of my favorite movies, like Now You See Me 1 and 2, Zombieland 1 and 2, The Social Network, and then he's also played in Batman vs. Superman, which was released in 2016. So this film, like I said, is similar to the last in that it focuses on a couple. I don't think they're married, I think they're just together, and they are looking for a new home, but they haven't found one yet. So they go and find this man, very odd man, by the name of Martin, who is their kind of real estate agent for the day that's going to show them around. So he leads them to this really weird suburban neighborhood, and it's called Yonder, where literally all of the houses look the exact same. It's a very desolate community. Like, there's no one out playing, there's no kids out in the yard, there's no people mowing the lawn or the grass. It's very quiet. I noticed this, but they kind of stored in the back of their mind. So their agent leads them to this house, literally called Number 9. He shows them around, and while they're kind of deciding on, I guess, whether they want the house or not, Martin dips. Martin leaves. But to their surprise, when they try to leave, they realize they can't. They find that all of their efforts as they walk through the neighborhood literally leads them back to where they started, which is at this creepy house called Number 9. What happens next is something really strange and weird. A baby shows up mysteriously on their front porch. So basically a note is attached to the baby detailing what they have to do, basically raise this baby. So Siri. This movie is definitely on the weirder side. It is a thriller slash mystery, but it's also very kind of psychological, I think, in the way that it messes with your mind at the end. I think some of the main things you can look forward to is this idea of simulation. So if you're interested in simulations, definitely give this movie a watch. It also focuses on motherhood, like what it takes to be a mother sort of thing, and then focuses on this thing called brood parasitism. And basically, I'll read it directly off because I can't memorize this for the life of me. Brood parasitism is a breeding strategy in which the brood parasite female evades all parental care by laying its egg in its host nest. Basically, this species relies on an unrelated foster parent to care for their parasitic offspring. So like the other, there are no free options of watching this movie. It is subscription based and you can rent it on certain platforms. So you can watch it with a subscription on Amazon Prime Video. You can rent it all on Vudu, Redbox, Google Play Movies and TV, and YouTube for $3.99, and then Apple TV for $2.99. Alright, so moving along to our next one, it is another show called Echoes, and it was released in 2022 on Netflix, so it's a Netflix original series. The show was created by Vanessa Gracie, starring a few notable names. The two that show up the most include Michelle Monaghan, and she starred in things like The Best of Me, Pixels, Mission Impossible 3, as well as The Source Code. And then we've also got Matt Bomer, and Matt Bomer is more famous for his roles in White Collar and Magic Mike. This follows the lives of two identical sisters who switch every year on their birthday. Now, from a young age, they've actually become accustomed to switching, and you see kind of for what reasons. Oh, I didn't name the sisters. So the two sisters are named Gina and Lenny. So when this happens, Gina pretends to be Lenny for a certain amount of time, and then Lenny pretends to be Gina for a certain amount of time as they grow up. As teenagers, they even share the same boyfriend. His name is Jack, which one of them ends up marrying. They do sleep with the same guy. So when the show starts, and this is what the first episode is about, mind you, things take a turn when one of the sisters goes missing, which leaves the other sister kind of lost and confused and worried. She has to play both lives now, so she's playing Gina and Delaney to kind of keep this secret that they've been having under wraps, basically. She also has to figure out what happened to her sister and why she's missing. This show is really trippy and very odd, and it has a good mystery to it, as well as a good kind of twist towards the end that you may or may not see coming. As I mentioned this before, it is a Netflix original series, so you can watch it only on Netflix with a subscription, of course. Now, our last one is another movie. It's called The Belko Experiment, and it's similar to the Severance plotline in that it focuses on a company with malicious and kind of malintent for their employees. So, The Belko Experiment is a 2016 film directed by Greg McLean, and it stars a few notable names. The cast list is extremely extensive, so I'm just going to read off a couple notable and their most notable works. So, a few notable ones include John Gallagher, and he's played in things like Hush and 10 Cloverfield Lane. I don't remember seeing him in Hush, but I also haven't seen Hush in a while. Then we've got Michael Rooker, and he's played in roles like Love and Monsters with Dylan O'Brien, as well as in the Guardians of the Galaxy series. And then also another man from the Guardians of the Galaxy series is Sean Gunn. He's played in this movie as well, and he's also played in Suicide Squad. And lastly, for notable names, we've got Tony Goldwyn, and he's most famous for his role in Scandal, I believe, with Kerry Washington. Now, for this one, I really just wanted to read from the description it has on the internet. I think it perfectly summarizes everything, and it does it justice more so than I would. So I'm just going to read from it. It reads, an ordinary day at the office becomes a horrific quest for survival when 80 employees working at the Belco Corp learn that they are pawns in a deadly game. Trapped inside their building, a voice over an intercom tells the frightened staffers that two workers must be killed within 30 minutes. When another ultimatum follows, friends become enemies and new alliances take shape as only the strongest remain live at the end. Now, this is definitely a film that's essential features focuses more so on survival of the fittest. It's definitely not for the weak-stomached girls. It's a very kind of bloody gore movie, and it depicts people getting murdered in very brutally ways, mind you. If you've watched The Platform on Netflix, which was going to be in my top 5, but The Platform focuses on cannibalism essentially and also gruesome murders, and I loved that movie. If you are not an enjoyer of movies that are kind of hard to stomach, honestly, I wouldn't recommend this one. This is definitely for the mature girlies that can stomach this type of content. Now, you can watch actually this movie for free on a couple different streaming platforms, those including 2D, 2D, Tubi, Pluto TV, and Redbox. And then you can also rent it from $3.99 on YouTube, Google Play Movies and TVs, Apple TV, Vudu, and Amazon Prime Video. Again, all for $3.99. And with that being said, that completes my video for today on my top 5 movies and TV shows with the most interesting plots. spooky season edition. I hope you enjoyed some of my top 5. If you've watched any of these movies and TV shows or are going to, let me know down below and what you thought. If you have one that didn't make the list, you can include it down below so you can recommend others what to watch. I do plan on doing more of these types of videos, just kind of sitting down, chilling out, and talking. I'm gonna experiment with it because I think it's easier to film these, especially with my schedule now that I've started my online classes. Please, like I said, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much again for watching to this point. And with that being said, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!